Hello there. Once again, it's Anton from Anton Bay. Thank you guys for stopping by the collection room on a Sunday morning. Spend a little bit of time chatting, going through some comics, going through a short box, getting things put away, starting off our day with issue number 1 of Port-au-Prince from Eclipse. I've seen a lot of issue number 1s, and I actually tracked down the rest of the series. I wanted to get the whole series before I read it. Wasn't really impressed. Art wasn't that impressive. None of it was that impressive, really. I wasn't blown away by it, but anyway, issue number 1. One thing I have, and I've got a bunch of loose issues of Legionnaires and Legion of Superheroes, which is a title that I really love the art style in. I love the costume designs in. Clear back into the, I think I've got some of these that go back into the early 90s. Just, they have this fun sci-fi look to them, and they're pretty detached from the rest of DC, so like I said, I've appreciated reading those. Anyway, as far as those comics go, hope you're having a good weekend so far. That's a cool cover. I really like that. That's a cool cover. Tales of the Teen Titans, issue 83. Hope you're having a good weekend. Like I was saying, my wife and I went to a play last night. We went to You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. We took our small infant child. He's 3 months old now. And I just figured he'd kind of sleep through the whole thing. No. He was like perched up, watching the bright colors and the dancing and the music. I was amazed. I was super surprised. So if he's into bright colors and stuff, maybe he'll be a comic book fan. This is cool. See, I got this from McKay, 35 cents. They put a sticker on it, which I did sit and peel a bunch of these off. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just kind of interesting that you could get these from McKay. Comico Elementals, by the way. Justice Machine, number 27. So Justice Machine was one of those weird titles that I got from a Benjamin Franklin's. Do you guys remember Ben Franklin's? I think it was Benjamin Franklin's or Ben Franklin's. Just a little 5 and dime store from like the 80s, maybe early 90s. And they would sell comics like 3-packs for $1 or something like that. My brother and I were introduced to a lot of strange comics through there. Protectors, number 11. These don't look like they're in any sort of order. Protectors is a title from Malibu that I would like to get maybe a complete run of. I think I'm pretty close. There's probably just a few key issues that I haven't grabbed, or late released issues. This era of Malibu, it's weird. Whenever I think of Malibu, it's always Ultraverse, but there is a whole genre of Malibu that wasn't Ultraverse. And it looked pretty good. I mean, it really did. That doesn't look bad at all. It has a dated appearance to it, but it's good stuff. Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I got pretty much a run right here. Good amount of it. Ooh. And then I had an issue of Man of War 2. Yeah, it's wild. They were doing Protectors, and what was the other one that they did? They did a big book on X-Mutants, but I think that's in a different universe. And these guys aren't in the same universe as the Malibu Ultraverse. This is a book in and of its own. I've always thought this cover was creepy and does not match the motif of the rest of the series, so it really stands out. Where that just looks like a super 90s. I'm getting a bit of a glare in there. Comic book YouTuber I know, he always used to say, "Don't apologize for the glare." That was like his catchphrase. Yeah, Bub from Bub's Comics, if you guys ever watch him. Protectors, issue number 1, the origin story. Nice. And back to some Justice Machine. I've heard people say Comico or Kamiko. I go with Comico. I don't think it's Kamiko. I don't see a comic. I see a comic. Comico. Oh. Anyway, Justice Machine, a lot of the art and style is very similar to like the Elementals, but it's an interesting book. I haven't read all of them. I've kind of just read some sporadic issues. It's one I kind of wanted to gather a few more of at the time before I started reading it. This is one of the issues that me and my brother got out of the 3-pack. And we could definitely tell right away, like we were used to reading Ninja Turtles and Archie, and that was vastly different stuff. And we also recognized right away that these were not Comic Code Authority titles, which everything we'd read till then was. So, yeah, these being non-Comic Authority, not that they were like really crude, they were just a little rougher than we're usually used to. And we could tell, we're like, oh, wow, something's different about this book. And it was in packs like that we found Comico's Justice Machine. I found AC Comics Femforce, Bade Biker and Orson from Mirage Studios, Nemesis the Warlock from Eagle Comics. Just some really odd. That's why we had an issue of Den from, what is it, Fantagraphics makes Den? Richard Corbin stuff really early. I mean, slap an issue of like Den number 4 in like a 10-year-old's hand. Changes you. Especially when you've been reading like Archie Ninja Turtles and stuff. I always thought this guy looked like Tony Stark, even before I really knew who Tony Stark was. I was like, that guy looks like Tony Stark. The last secret revealed. Daddy. Anyway, cool set of books. If you're tired of Marvel and DC and you want to venture off the side trail and read something different, Justice Machine, books like that, Protectors, good way to go. Like I said, I always enjoyed Malibu Ultraverse, and that was definitely not Marvel and DC, and you could also tell also not Comic Code Authority, but really thoroughly love those titles. The Earth Jor-El War. I got the crud in my throat this morning for some reason. I always thought this cover was just disgusting because look, they're shooting beams of this really, what's apparently very thick green stuff at him. It always just struck me as like kind of funny. It's amazing. All these issues are in here. Most are bagged and boarded. None of them are in order. That's a groovy cover. It's got lots of nice color to it. Almost looked like Ulik the Troll there for a second. Justice Machine number 5. Justice Machine number 1. And what is this? Why, I've got, this is crazy. Apparently at some point I did this. Somebody did this. I got the New Wave number 5 in there, which is super thin. 50 cents bi-weekly. And I've got a copy of Eternity Comics Ninja number 9. Double bagged. Who double bags anymore? Shouldn't do that. Liberty Project number 2. Liberty Project number 3. This is a book I would like to get the rest of. Like, if I had the full series, I think it looks good enough. I would like get the whole thing and just read it. Liberty Project number 4. I'm missing a couple issues of it. If I remember right, issue number 5. It's about a bunch of superheroes, well, who are criminals, who get made into superheroes for the purposes of TV and life risking. The Liberty Project featuring Valkyrie. I knew that. Quality Comics, Rogue Troopers. I haven't seen a lot from Quality Comics, so that's pretty cool. Here's a strange, almost landmark. It's Archie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 14. Me and my brother, first issue we bought was issue number 13. Loved it. We each read it a cajillion times. And then we got issue 14 and we're like, what the heck is wrong with the art? The art inside is super stupid and wrong. Like, I don't even know who they got to do it. It's the worst. And then it goes back to normal in 15, but we hated this issue. We're like, why is it so awful? It's the first appearance of Jaguar Man, or Jaguar, whatever his name was. I have his action figure. Love the action figure. Brings back tons of nostalgia. Also reminds me how terrible the art was in that particular issue. Youngblood number 2, first appearance of Prophet. As if anyone really cares. And there's apparently cards still packed in there. Makes the book feel weird. X-Men's Kitty Pryde, Shadow and Flame, issue number 1. Kitty Pryde's miniseries. Of course, fighting a bunch of ninjas. I don't think of Kitty Pryde as a katana-wielding person. Maybe I missed something there. I don't know. Well, anyway, I got the whole miniseries here. And it is what it is. I don't know that I've read it, actually. Twisted Tales number 5. That is a super creepy cover. Twisted Tales sometimes is good, sometimes is really disgusting and not cool. But trying to be the old school horror stuff and landing about 50-50 on that. The Wanderers, issue number 3. Don't know much about DC's Wanderers, except that they have fantastic covers on the Wanderers. Like, the stuff looks great. If I hold these slightly tilted, I don't get a glare, so that's nice. But yeah, beautiful covers on these. Beautiful covers on these. They did a lot of work on these. They look very nice. Good eye for the angle. Innovations Nightmare on Elm Street number 4. That's a fantastic cover. I don't know how like accurate it is to Freddy's powers, unless they're dreaming. But all my Innovation Nightmare on Elm Street comics I got from my buddy Scott. It's pretty cool that he sent me those. Miniseries Scarlet Witch number 1. This is when she had like, I don't know, like they did a 90s remodel of her. The whole outfit, the hair, I don't know. It wasn't working for me. Black and White, issue number 1. Kind of a random Image title. I think it only ran 3 issues. But can usually be had pretty inexpensively under different places. So I have got here, this is Klutzian Comedy Cause. I'm looking for a publisher. But it's Ultra Klutz number 1. I've got 3 issues of it. And this is not normal comic book size. A little bit different. Shorter, wider, I think. Ultra Klutz is an awesome title by Jeff Nicholson. Definitely worth checking out. And later it got published by Onward Comics, looks like. I personally think the older covers looked cooler. But it's definitely an indie title. It's a spoof of like Ultraman, but it features a lot of your other characters and other superheroes. Good book. I've pointed it out before, and I need to kind of go through all my boxes. They're just littered out throughout here. Eclipse Area 88, I believe, is another comic that was sent to me by my friend Scott. Several of those. I don't remember Eclipse doing Dirty Pair comics. I always thought that was Dark Horse, but I guess they've been published around a few times. Dalgota number 6 and Dalgota number 4. Also, another title that I think has gotten sprinkled throughout my collection, that it's just like, you know, I need to go through every box and pull out all of these and find them. But it's crazy because it's like, I'll find a couple in one box and there'll be another in another box. I'm like, probably bought in at different times from different purchases, and then just not, like, I don't remember where the other ones were. Because, you know, you get enough issues, you got a section of that issue. But if you just grab them whenever you see them and don't really ever go through and form them all up, you end up with just, you know, oh, I think I have some issues of Dalgota. And so you buy them whenever you see them. Oh, those are only $1. I'll buy those. But I never go back and look in my collection to find out where the other ones were and add them in. So I ended up having like 20 issues of Dalgota spread throughout all my boxes. And I don't know whether I have the full run or not. This happens. And it's frustrating for me, but it is kind of nice to at least, when I go through the boxes like this, I see, oh, I do have a lot of that. It's like those Ultra Klutz. I know I have a few Ultra Klutz issues. I didn't know I had this many spread throughout all my different boxes. Shatter is so weird. It's pixelated digital comic. It's very odd. And we're into the back of the box now, and it's all just loose Justice Machines, it looks like. Well, it's got a few loose Justice Machines. New York Year Zero. This is actually a pretty good comic. Remember, it's like a post-apocalypse world, kind of like Escape from New York type thing. The Eclipse Comics, The New Wave. This is another book I would be interested to have more of. If I am not mistaken, that's The Heap. And I do like The Heap. It's one of my favorite big monster creatures. Another comic that I have sprinkled throughout all the boxes, littered throughout there like pepper, is E-Man. And I would like to kind of round up all my E-Man and put them together and see exactly what I have. Phase? I have never heard of this one. I don't even remember owning it. Not the most exciting cover, but it's there. Year Zero, Death of the Squad. This is a prequel comic to Malibu's Ultraverse stuff. When we start Malibu Ultraverse, when you first pick up your first issue of Hardcase, he's getting throttled by Enemy, and his whole team's like wiped out or dead or whatever, and that's how it starts. He's having a flashback of that, and then like after the series went on, they finally said, well, let's just make a book about how the squad got started, what they did, and how they eventually met their end. Robo Hunter. Eagle Comics, number 1. That's pretty cool. New Titans, number 93. This one I have several issues of because it's one I kind of grab whenever I see it. It's one where Starfire gets put in an adult magazine, and there's some pretty, I think they're Adam Hughes SketchUp arts that are just, they're racy, but they're cool. Like, I can't tell if that's Hughes or not, but pretty sure. If I remember right, it was. Anyway, it causes a big kerfuffle in the team, and it's kind of a one-off, strange issue. Ironically, this has actually happened in several comics that I can think of, where one member has decided to do like Playboy or some sort of lurid magazine and something like that. And that causes a big deal with the team. Because they did it in FemForce, they did it in Teen Titans, they did it in, I'm trying to think of the name of it, I know it's another book, DN Agents. That was the plot of one of the issues of DN Agents. I know they've done it in like issues of Flare, I think, where this was promoted that way and they didn't want it, or they did. And I know it was done in Ecstatics, if I remember right. It's just a reoccurring theme. That's a really cool cover. Astro City. Astro City, I never really got into, but man, they had cool covers. Another brilliant issue of Ultra Klutz, because I just buy them whenever I see them. The Masked Man. Image Comics, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Troll Lords. Sunrunners issue 4. For some reason, everybody has an issue of Sunrunners in their collection. DN Agents number 13. Innovation Comics, The Group LaRue, which is a cool name for a book. The Group LaRue. An Aircel comic of Samurai. Total Eclipse, which is like an Eclipse Comics promo book, which is pretty cool. A Renegade Press Eternity. Sometimes it's like, I could tell I just grabbed these from somewhere because they were cool comics that were superhero, but not Marvel or DC. DN Agents again, issue number 7. Nexus 36. Nexus has amazing covers. They do. And the art in the book is beautiful. X-Mutants number 1. An issue of a book called The Guardian by Spectrum Comics, which is probably why I bought it. It has a Coas sticker on it. It says 50 cents, so maybe that's what I paid for it. Aztec Ace, which I ended up getting the full series for. Liefeld's X-Force, pretty tough to beat. This is issue 3, getting ready to fight the Juggernaut. Issue 4, I've read so many times because that is such a fun book to read. It's got Spider-Man in it, X-Force fighting the Juggernaut. It's fantastic. First issue of X-Mutants. You will see this a lot because I love this comic. And this is the video game cover. I bought this book so many times. Comics based on toy lines, I'm always going to grab. Like robotics, Transformers, stuff like this. And pretty much Marvel was the one who did all of those, if I remember right. Skeleton Key, independent Canadian book, which I recommend. An IDW, April and Casey. I don't like IDW. I just don't. And it's because IDW comics always feel like some sort of a Tumblr fan fiction crap. I hate them. Metaphor. John Sable, 33. This book never looked interesting. I've also ended up with a lot of issues of Psycho Blast, which I also thought never looked interesting, but I've had people tell me they are actually good. But Sable and Psycho Blast just seemed like really generic stuff to me, and I was not interested. PC Comics, Star Slayer, The Log of the Jolly Roger. This is a book I would like to get more of. It has a very similar art style feel to The Warlord, which you guys know I love The Warlord by DC. So it's a book that when I see it, I grab it because I think, actually, I'll bet you that's done by the same guy. It looks just exactly the same, but just a cool space pirate feel. Bit number 2. Protectors 6. X-Mutants #1 again. I have so many. It's wild how many of those I have grabbed throughout the years. Turok, Spring Break, Lost Island. Looks like a brilliant read. Another issue of Saber. John Saber. Scout, which has a cool look to it. Like if you were going to make a comic that just looks like New Mexico, that runs in New Mexico. And then we got an issue of Warriors of Plasm #4. And Warriors of Plasm #6. And that's it. The box is full. Wow. So that's it. Another one to put on the shelves, sorted through, find out what we got. I appreciate you guys watching. If you made it this far, you made it through the whole video, you're a hero. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Remember to keep collecting fun. Don't make it a chore. Don't make it something that you hate. Buy what you enjoy, and you don't have to take any better care of it than you want to. If you don't want to bag it and board it, don't. Enjoy it. Anyway, that's my story. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good weekend. Bye.